What is a blessing? What is a bracha? So we know there are three meanings of the word Baruch. And if you don't know what they are, then you'll not live a conscious, amazing, joyful, God-conscious Jewish life. Because you say the word Baruch many, many, many times. I was speaking to a 27-year-old on one of my trips to Thailand, very secular, and he clearly knew a lot of Torah. So I said, what's your story? And he said, I became religious when I was 18, and I went to yeshiva, black hat, learned Gemara, 18 to 24 in Israel, with Frum, and then I came back to America when I was 24, stopped being religious, 27, not religious at all. So I said, okay. So I said, did you make brachas when you were religious? He said, of course I made brachas, 100 brachas a day. He says we have to make 100 brachas a day. So I said to him, what does Baruch mean? And he said, blessed. And I said two things. First I said, well, what does blessed mean? What are you talking about? And secondly, Baruch doesn't mean blessed. Blessed is just an English translation of the word Baruch. So what does Baruch actually mean? So he said to me, Baruch, it means holy. Baruch atah Hashem. I said, no, it doesn't. Kadosh means holy. And he said, Baruch atah Hashem. Blessed are you, it means thanks. And I said, no, it doesn't. That's Hadaya, it means thanks. And he said, well, you know. And I said, yes, I do know. You don't know. You don't know what Baruch means. So because you didn't know what Baruch means when you were saying 100 blessings a day, that's why you're not saying any blessings today. Because you don't have any idea. So we've got to understand. I'm not giving you the whole Parsha Class now, although I should. Baruch, the first meaning is you are the source. S-O-U-R-C-E. Everything comes from you. You're the wellspring. So we often play this game in this class. Where does this table come from? What's this made of? Where does wood come from? Where do trees come from? Where does earth come from? Where does space come from? Where does the Big Bang come from? Good. Where does metal come from? Where does the ground come from? Where does the earth come from? Where does wool come from? Where does sheep come from? Mummy sheep. Where does the first sheep come from? Where did the mutation come from? Hashem. Where does your t-shirt come from? China. Where does China come from? Hashem. Where does glass come from? Where does sand come from?
Rocks.
Where does rocks come from?
The earth.
Where does the earth come from? Cotton. Where did your t-shirt? What's your t-shirt made of? Cotton. Where does cotton come from? Where does plants come from? Where does seeds come from? You get the idea? Anything you ever look at, ever, will go back to Hashem. Hashem is the source of everything. Now, if you actually play this game and you walk around and you see a person, you say, where did this person come from? His mother. Where does his mother come from? It's going to be Hashem. Where did the air come from? Hashem. Everything. So if you start playing this game and become very conscious, you can start really seeing the world as just an expression of Hashem. Everything is just an expression of Hashem. Like we say, everything in this room that is made by a human being, books and tripods and TVs and walls, started off as an idea in some human's head. It was a ratzon, it was a desire, and then it got created into a tripod. So there was a human being, had an idea to create something. Now the difference between God and a human being is Hashem created yesh mi'ayin, created something from nothing. Humans can't do that. You can take one cell of a cow and turn it into a cow. You can do some DNA crazy stuff if you want, but you can't create the DNA in the first place. So everything is, when you say the word Baruch, that should tap you in that there's a creator of the universe. That everything comes from that. That in itself should be mind-blowing. Second meaning of Baruch means to increase. To increase. And we see Bet is 2 and Resh is 200 and Chaf is 20. It's all the twos, it's like increasing. Expanding. So when you say Baruch, we're expanding God's name in the world. We're expanding your wealth. If I bless you with wealth, I'm saying that you should have more of it. If I bless you with anything in life, a blessing is an expansion, a growth, becoming bigger. And the last meaning of Baruch is related to the word Berech, which means your knee, and it means to bring down. Just like your knee, you can make a camel kneel down, the Eliezer, we learn this from the Torah, when Eliezer made his camels lie down. So the word is the word Baruch. Because some people feel, even though they know Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere and sitting in this room right now with us, we don't often feel like that. We feel like Hashem is kind of far away. Even when you daven, you're talking to Hashem who's kind of in the heavens. So by saying with the word Baruch, we are bringing Hashem down into our palpable consciousness right in front of our face, at which point we can say Baruch Atah. Now we can say the word Atah, you. And Atah, as we said in the Tefillah series, is the single most important word you'll ever say. Because if you say the word Atah to Hashem consciously, that means you're really literally speaking to Hashem who's in front of you, and then you can have a sense that Hashem's really here. So that's what a bracha is. So we see in this week's Parsha that we have a blessing, the priestly blessing. Blessing of the Kohanim. So they're blessing the Jewish people. So what does that mean? They're really bringing Hashem down into the world. Not that we need intermediaries in general, by the way. You can tap into Hashem directly and speak to Hashem on your own. But we do see that when someone's sick or you have a major problem, people go to tzaddikim to get a blessing. Why do people not come to me for a blessing? Why do they go to Rav Morgenstein or Rav David Avukutsera? Why are people going to tzaddikim for blessings and not to me? People do come to me a little bit, but they probably shouldn't. So the reason is because these people have so lost their ego and tapped into their soul that they're basically a conduit, they're a channel for Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu was the highest one ever, and he lost, it says that the Shekhinah would speak through his voice, he just wasn't there anymore. And the second main reason is because these people have perfected speech. So these people are never roasting, bantering, no teasing, not talking about stupid things, they're just speaking about holy, uplifting things all the time. Every word they say is encouraging and uplifting and positive and conscious. So once they've used their power of speech so perfectly, then Hashem says, okay, so you now have power to use your speech. If you're going to be saying rude, disgusting, horrible things, and you've lost your power of speech, if you use a gift correctly, then your parents will give you another gift. If my kids are using what I give them well and looking after their toys, then I'll get them more toys. If not, I'll take the toys away. So you have a gift of speech. If you're using your speech well, then Hashem gives immense power. That's why those tzaddikim can give you a bracha, because their speech has more power. And we know that you have three things: thought, speech, and action. Thought is internal, action is external, speech is linking the internal and the external. It's the bridge. It's taking what's inside me and bringing it. That's why we say Hashem spoke and the world came to be. Does that mean there was a loud voice? Let there be light? Maybe, but on a basic level it means he took his ratzon, his desire, and he brought it into reality, spoke the world into being. He manifested. Hashem's very into manifesting. So this is what they're doing, they're speaking. And the Kohanim are meant to be these very pure people, don't go near death. Kohanim, we see in other religions, priests are very into death. They like burying people. In Judaism, our priests are all about life. It's all about life. So Hashem says to Moshe, tell Aaron that you're going to bless the Jewish people. Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. Hashem should bless you, which means, what does that mean? Hashem should bless you? He should increase your goodness, basically. You should have an increased goodness. V'yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, and He should protect you. It's a good blessing. Ya'el Hashem panav elecha v'yichuneka. Hashem should shine His face upon you and be gracious unto you. I remember this from Elith Reform Synagogue. He should shine His face upon you. What is Hashem's face? Panav. Because in the next one it says, V'yisa Hashem panav elecha, and Hashem should turn His face, His countenance, towards you. V'yasem lecha shalom, and give you peace. Understand, by the way, that it finishes with shalom. Shalom seems to be like this ultimate level. The whole of Shmona Esrei finishes with shalom. Yerecha Dama Yisrael ba shalom. The priestly bracha finishes with shalom. Kaddish finishes with shalom. Everything finishes with shalom. We're very into shalom. Shalom meaning peace and perfection. Peace and perfection. So it talks a lot about Hashem's panav, Hashem's face, Hashem's countenance. What does that mean? I hear we got in Tehillim, we say this every morning. Dirshu Hashem v'uzo. We should seek out Hashem and His strength. Bakshu fanav tamid. We should be requesting and yearning for Hashem's face. So what's Hashem's face? Anyone? Any ideas what Hashem's face might be? Yes.
It's like His light.
Good. So basically, one of the things is He should shine His light. But what it really means, two main meanings, is His favor. If someone's turning the face towards you, it means they're looking at you. They care about you. They're protecting you. If someone's turning their face away, it's like literally speak to the hand. If someone's turned to face you, the first thing it means is that they're aware of you. They're paying attention to you. They're looking over you. They're invested in you. So Hashem should turn His face towards you. Now Hashem knows what's happening in your life all the time because Hashem intimately connected to you. So we see that the kruvim, the cherubim, what are the kruvim? The things on the top of the Aron HaKodesh. When Israel and the Jewish people, when they were doing good, then they were facing each other. But when we were sinning, they were facing away from each other. So that's panim al panim. Panim al panim means intimate relationship. We're having an intimate relationship. You're not back to back with each other. The other thing it means is the word panim means panimiut, which is strange because your face is your external world, but panim comes from the roots panimiut. Panimiut is your inner world. So we say really in an intimate relationship, your inner and outer expression are the same. There's no deceit there. There's no really. I'm turning up intimately face to face with you with my deepest love. So it really means we should be seeking a personal, direct, palpable, authentic relationship, intimate relationship with Hashem all the time. That's what that means. Is that what we're doing? That's what we were talking about before. What's your ratzon? What do you really want in life? What do you want? Do you want your team to win? How much do you want your team to win? It's like, I just don't actually care anymore. It's not worth wanting that. I just don't care. How much do you want to have a personal, palpable, intimate, authentic relationship with Hashem? Yeah, that's okay, but I'm a bit busy. I don't know. So that's really what we're trying to do. So this is what Rabbi Nassim says. V'ya'er Hashem panav elech v'yichunecha. Hashem should shine His countenance, His face towards you. Hashem should be intimately involved in your life, showing you love and favor. Ikar avodas ha'adam lamshich v'la'ir ba'alam ha'erat panav yitbarach. The main avoda, your main spiritual work that you have to do in order to bring Hashem's light, Hashem's face into this world. By the way, that means it's up to us. Hashem's not revealing Himself in the world. He did that 3,338 years ago. There were some miracles later in the temple, but since the temple was destroyed, 70 CE, Hashem's not really showing His face in the world. Now, if you're a very sensitive spiritual individual, then you can walk through nature and see Hashem's face, so to speak. But really, He's saying that we are Hashem's face in the world. We've said this a few times before. We are the Shekhinah. The Jewish people are God's representatives in the world. So to the extent that we bring Hashem into the world, then Hashem's in the world. And if we don't, then Hashem, so to speak, is not in the world. He's hanging out in heaven, waiting for us to bring Him into the world. It's very powerful. We should request His face all the time. And what do you think is the main way that we can request and yearn for and pull down Hashem's face into the world? Do you think it's by doing mitzvahs and saying brachas joyfully? I think that's a very, very good one. Is it behaving really well and being a Kiddush Hashem? I think that's a very, very good one. It's not what he says. That when you speak to people, what's your topic of conversation, basically? When you meet someone, what do you talk about? Do you talk about the politics and the weather and women and sport? Or do you talk about Yiras Hashem? Do you talk about, I saw this amazing Rashi, or I just learned this beautiful idea, or something meaningful? So we just said speech is how Hashem created the world. Speech is how you bring your inner world to the outer world. So you've got to ask yourself, what's the content of your speech? What do you speak about? What are you interested? When you go to a Shabbos table, is everyone sitting around talking about AI and, or are they talking about meaningful things? So we've said this a few times, there are 5 levels of speech. The lowest level is forbidden speech. you're not allowed to say not nice things. Just not allowed to speak Lashon Hara. A higher, well, I don't know if it's a high level, but the next level is negative speech. It's not forbidden, but it's negative. You're just complaining and whining the whole time. Then we have neutral speech, and that's necessary. There's neutral and necessary, for example, who's going to pick the kids up from school? Where are we going for Shabbos? That's neutral and necessary. Then there's neutral and probably not that necessary, just like talking about the football. Then there's positive speech, uplifting people, encouraging people, helping people. And then there's mitzvah speech, Torah and tefillah and prayer. Now, I think positive speech is generally mitzvah as well, by the way. Any positive speech is v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. But you've got to work out what percentage of your speech is on which level. So you really want the vast majority of your speech to be on the top two levels. It's got to be positive and meaningful and holy and conscious.
What's the fourth one?
Positive. There's forbidden, negative, neutral, positive, mitzvah. You want not one forbidden word to leave your mouth ever. You don't want to speak Lashon Hara. And we say this a lot. So Lashon Hara says a lot more about you than it says about the person you're speaking badly about, because happy people don't speak Lashon Hara. So you're clearly broken and empty in some way that you feel the need to put other people down. Negative speech, you're just whining and complaining. Not forbidden, but it's not making your life better. That's creating your world. So the way you speak creates your world. So you speak negatively, you'll just be living in a negative place. Neutral, yeah, if you have to say neutral things, then you have to, because you have to survive. But that's got to be minimal. And then you just want to be positive and mitzvah all the time. And your speech creates your world and the world of those people around you. So you want to do that. So the main way we bring Hashem's presence into this world is how we speak to each other, by the way. And obviously how we speak to Hashem, but how are we speaking to each other? ומבקש ומשתדל שיקבלו הערת זה מזה מהנקודות טובות שבליבם שהם בחינס פני השם. And Rabbi Nachman, his most famous teaching is all about the Nakuda Tova. Everyone has a good point in yourself. You have a good point in yourself. However much you are beating yourself up, don't feel good about yourself, there's always there's something good, you did something good, and it means that everyone else also, the worst person on the face of the planet, they did one good thing at some way, at some time, and Rabbi Nachman teaches that if you see the good in other people, you actually bring it out of them. If you see the good in other people and you comment on the good in other people, you actually make them feel good. So, for example, with your children, you never say to your children, you're such a bad kid. Say you're such a good kid. I don't think that's not on your level. Do you know who you are? And that actually makes you feel better about yourself. And we have this general idea that a parent loves it when their kids are playing nicely. I davened Mariv last night and I came home and Binyamin had suddenly remembered he had a Torah test today. So my daughter, 13, was helping him. And she was asking him questions and it's so good to see your kids getting on well. So if you see the good in yourself and other people, it makes Hashem very happy, and then He wants to come and be in the picture. He wants to be with us. It says, "Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha," you should love your fellows yourself. Ani Hashem, I am Hashem, which means if you love each other, then I'm going to be in the game. Rav Noach's famous story. I'll tell it very quickly. There's a man from Damascus, and he had a friend in Rome, and he went to visit his friend in Rome, and they thought it was or the other way around, Rome to Syria, whatever, and they thought he was a spy. So they arrested him, and they said, "We're going to hang you." Rav Noach's favorite story, I'll show you the video. And he said, can I just go home and say goodbye to my wife and tie up my business stuff, and then I'll come back and you'll hang me? And the king was like, "You crazy, I'm not doing that." And he goes, "I've got a friend here in Damascus, and he'll sit in for me." So the king was very interested. So he said, "Okay." So the friend from Damascus, he sat in prison. The guy from Rome went home to Rome. He said, "I'll be back in 60 days. Went home, said goodbye to his wife, said goodbye to his children, packed up his business, whatever. Sailed back. There was no wind. And basically on the 60th day, they went to hang the friend who was in his place, Arabim Zelazeh. And they were about to hang him. And then the guy from Rome just got back in time. He said, "I'm back. Kill me, I'm the spy." And the hangman was like, oh yeah, you are. And then the other guy said, no way. I was your replacement, and you didn't come back, so they have to kill me. And he said, no, that's not the deal. I got back in time. And he goes, no, you had to be back by this day. And they started arguing who would be killed. So they took him to the king. And the king said, this is very interesting. And he said, tell me what's going on. And they said, well, I deserve to die because I sat in his place. He didn't come back. He said, no, I'm the spy. And eventually the king said to him, I'm going to pardon both of you. You're both of the hook. You just got to make me the third friend. I just want to, this friendship is very, very powerful. So that's how Rav Noach explains, if we love each other, then I want to be, Hashem says, I want to be your friend. So this is what this is saying. Hashem says, I want to hang out with you if you're nice. And if you're not nice, and I think, and this is a bit intense, that this is why bad things happen to the Jewish people. October the 7th. There had never been worse disunity amongst the Jewish people. There's crazy things happen on Yom Kippur, and the left and the right, and the ultra-Orthodox. And Hashem says, I'm kind of not hanging around with you guys. So once Hashem says that, He pulls back His shmirah, His protection, and then Hamas can do what they do. The Nefesh HaChaim speaks about this. It's happened with the temple. Why was the temple destroyed? Because of Sinat Chinam. We didn't love each other. So Hashem says, right, I'm pulling myself back. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the Nefesh HaChaim says, Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the temple, but it was already destroyed. He just came in and cleaned up. So this is what we're saying. We bring Hashem into the world by blessing each other and speaking and saying good and nice things to each other. Because every Jewish person really is a tzaddik. Amech kulam tzaddikim. We are all perfectly enlightened, amazing, holy people. It's just covered up. We're all tzaddikim, we're all enlightened, we just don't think, speak and act like that. As I often give the example, if you have an elephant that dresses up as a chicken, and he speaks chicken language and he thinks like a chicken and he acts like a chicken, he's still an elephant, he's just being a chicken. So you might be the worst person in the world, thinking horrible thoughts, saying horrible things and doing horrible things, but it doesn't mean you're not enlightened. It's just you haven't revealed that part. So by seeing it in other people and ourselves, we start revealing that. Vehi bechinat penei Hashem, bechinat tzidkaya anfei shechinta. And this is like Hashem's face, because the tzaddikim, and that means all of us, are the Shekhinah. The Zohar says, we, Knesset Yisrael, we are God's presence in the world. We are God's face. You are God's face. So if we're not doing what we're meant to be doing, we're covering up God's face, and God's not turning towards us. But when we're doing what we're meant to be doing, we reveal God's face. Ya'eh Hashem panav elecha v'yichuneka. Hashem should shine His face upon you. Who's that up to? It's up to you. You have to become a vessel. You have to become that to be able to shine. Hashem wants to come and hang out with you. Because we all have this godly spark within us. And if we do this, then we will merit that Hashem will shine His love into us. And very cool. Midah keneged midah. If we treat people with love and compassion, then Hashem says, okay, I'll treat you with love and compassion too. If we're judgmental and horrible to other people, Hashem says, okay, so I'm going to judge you. I'll judge you how you judge other people. Everything's up to you. V'al yedei shenichlelin al yedei zeh hanukudot tavot mikama b'nei Yisrael mizeh b'chindus mekavlin den miden. This is what we say. We're saying every day in Shachris and Mincha, we say, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Holy, holy, holy. And before that, we're talking, the angels are saying to them, why does it say holy 3 times? Because one set of angels says to the other angels, Kadosh, you're Kadosh. And then the other ones say, no, you're Kadosh. And then we say, Kadosh Hashem. Because we saw the Kedusha in each and every one of us, then we can see Hashem's Kedusha. Hashem's going to shine down His light into the world. So it's all up to us. And this is going to be the glory of Israel through looking at the Nakuda Tava. So basically, again and again and again, we see in Jewish wisdom that it's all up to us. It's all up to us. To the extent that we're living up to our godly potential, Hashem says, right, I'm going to come and be in the world. There's a whole other piece we just didn't have time for. We just don't have time for it. Anyway, we'll deal with that this week. So you should be blessing people a lot. Really, from your heart. Just bless people. So you know what, I just give you a bracha that you should have a beautiful life, find an amazing wife, and reach your potential, and shine your light in the world. And mean it. And we say one thing on Purim, for example, people drink a lot on Purim, and if they don't have self-control, they're just passing out and they become very self-centered. But people who are God-conscious and they get drunk on Purim, you come to my house on Purim, you go to Rabbi Eid's house on Purim, just brachas. Just bracha. I just love you. I just want to bless you. But it's all up to us. We have to build the kli, we have to become the vessel to receive the blessing that Hashem wants to give us. But this is saying even deeper than that. We are Hashem's blessing in the world. We are increasing God's name in the world. To the extent that a Jew is being a Jew, and I think I said it in yesterday's class, I've been saying it a lot recently, I think anti-Semitism comes from us not being who we're meant to be. I think everyone in the world is looking up to us to be a light unto the nations, and if we're not, they're like, we're just going to kill you. We hate you. But why do we hate you? Because we're relying on you and you're not doing your job, so now we hate you. B'ezrat Hashem, we should be zeicher to be blessed and bless others.